Hello everyone, I am Julian Morris of the Channel 5 News. In the headlines, Ross University sends home over 150 employees. Calypsonians brace for impact of rising operating costs and reduced sponsorship this season. And Hurricane Maria will cost the Catholic Church $9 million in repairs to church properties across the island. The details after this. First stop in the news, 154 Ross University employees have been made redundant with the expectation that the school will resume operations in April. The Employees Trade Union representative, General Secretary of the Public Service Union, Thomas Later, confirmed to Channel 5 on Thursday after staff received redundancy letters. This as Hurricane Maria forced the medical school to relocate on a cruise ship off St. Kitts and subsequently to continue operations in Knoxville, Tennessee. The university's dean, Dr. William Owen, told employees in a letter in December that management would lay off some workers but maintain a core staff. More than 1,400 students, faculty and staff will continue this spring semester in Tennessee. Ross boasts of being the oldest and most accomplished Caribbean medical school serving students primarily from the US and Canada. The university was founded in 1978 with its main campus in Dominica, a school of veterinary medicine in St. Kitts, and an administrative base in Miami, Florida. In other news, an accurate forecast of the quantity and variety of crops available for export is top on the agenda of the Ministry of Agriculture for 2018. Andrea Louis has more.
The Ministry of Trade is working in collaboration with the Ministry of Agriculture to establish a database of farmers which will enhance available information on the volume of crops ready for export. Minister with responsibility for trade, Ian Douglas, says this database will help keep better track of the agricultural produce ready for sale on the local and overseas-based markets.
We're trying to work with the farmers through the Ministry of Agriculture. Ministry of Agriculture has a database of all the farmers. Although we have contracted farmers that we also work with, we work directly with certain farmers in the field. And we supply them with inputs and things like fertilizer and stuff, so that when they generate the crops or when they harvest the produce, they bring it straight to the pack houses. But now we are engendering a greater collaboration with the Ministry of Agriculture so that we can know all of the farmers around Dominica, where they are, what acreages they're planting, and what exactly they have. Whether they have yams, how much yams, they have dashing, how much dashing, when will that dashing be ready for production, how we're going to get it, that sort of thing. So we come January, we want to have a forecast as to who is doing what, so we can inform the markets now as to what we will have available and when we'll have it in every single crop.
Following Hurricane Maria, the country made smaller than usual exports of yam, dasheen, ginger and coconut to a few regional markets. Its first major shipment of dasheen to the United States happened on 1st November 2017. Douglas says the feedback from that new client has been encouraging.
Generally, we've had good feedback, I must say, from our suppliers, the people that we deal with in the USA. It's a new contract, so just saying about maybe our 2 or 3 shipments. Truth be told, some of the dasheen that we harvested had been in the ground for too long, so they had begun to turn. But by and large, we've gotten good reviews from our suppliers, and I believe that it is very important that we do all that is necessary for us to continue to maintain those markets. So we'll be working on a lot of issues like certification. We'll bring the Bureau of Standards in also and make sure that our pack houses, not only the multi-purpose pack houses in Roseau and Portsmouth, but there are like big farmers, big commercial farmers who have their own pack houses. There are some exporters who buy their produce directly from the farmers and wash it, sort it and pack it. We want to make sure that those facilities, while they are not our own, but they are also certified so that what we send on the international market meets the quality that is required by those markets.
The trade minister notes, though, that there were challenges in crop production following the hurricane. However, he is optimistic that Dominica can return to pre-Maria production levels within the next 9 months.
in a post-Maria situation, post-hurricane situation, when you're dealing with fresh produce, you can well understand that we have some challenges. The availability of fresh produce before Maria has been seriously curtailed by the storm. But we've been fortunate to be able to make some shipments. We are working in collaboration with the Ministry of Agriculture to ensure that farmers get back into the field as soon as possible and we can get back into production to be able to maintain our markets by generating the pre-Maria levels of production. We hope that all things being equal, within the next 6 to 9 months, we can have production back up, hopefully to the pre-Maria levels.
The multi-purpose pack houses also play an important role in the export of agricultural produce. The Roseau and Portsmouth pack houses, which were commissioned in July 2016, generated over $1 million in revenue during their first year of operation. Reporting for Channel 5 News, I am Andrea Louis.
In other news now, Calypsonians will have to tighten their belts this Calypso season in anticipation of dwindling sponsorship from the private sector. The word from chairman of the Stardom Calypso tent, Norman Leighton, who addressed the media launch of the event on Thursday.
Several businesses are not even back, so it does affect us greatly. That's why I said I mentioned lotteries because lotteries made a special effort knowing the situation. I suppose everybody have to tighten belts. The band cannot get what it's accustomed of getting. The Calypsonians obviously will not be able to get what they're accustomed of getting. I mean, that's the way it is. We have to face facts.
Operation costs are anticipated to climb this year with the added use and maintenance of a generator.
We think the crowd participation will be very good. As I say, it's a reunion year, and especially close to Carnival, there'll be a lot of Dominicans living abroad who will be back. I think that part of it will be excellent. But that cannot run the tent because the tent costs a lot of money to run. So you always need sponsors. Remember, think of it. You have to rent a stage, lights, you have security, this is your generator, tent, everything, advertisement. There's over maybe 30 Calypsonians in the tent. You must give them something.
Leighton would not disclose figures, but he says gate receipts are always much less than operating costs. The first staging of Stardom will take place this January 6 at the Strip in Lale Coco. In more news, plans for the expansion of the Dominica Infirmary have been placed on hold indefinitely. Here again is Andrea Louis.
The Dominica Infirmary is the oldest institution on island which provides care for destitute, less fortunate elderly in society. The current location of the infirmary can accommodate a maximum of 96 individuals. The institution reached full capacity just before Hurricane Maria, when some elderly came to take refuge against the storm but have not been able to return home as their properties were destroyed by the storm. During Residents Awareness Week in 2016, board member Colleen Felix informed the media that the board was intent on expanding the institution due to the growing need for more space at the facility. However, during a recent interview with Channel 5 News, director of the infirmary, Annie St. Luce, said these plans had to be postponed.
I'm not sure how much we can look at that right now. One of the things that we're going to do is to kind of inspect the plant and look at to see whether there were any compromises to the structure, whether the structure was compromised in any way, and then moving forward, look at what needs to be done. One of the things that Maria taught us was that we need to look at our windows, and so we probably need to change most of our windows. They're old. The type of window is the perfect thing, but they have aged, and so they need replacing. So moving forward from now, I will probably address strengthening and making the structure we have now more secure to withstand a storm or another hurricane before we expand. And because, as you can well imagine, we have residents on site, and we would like to ensure their safety before we expand.
St. Luce notes, though, that the infirmary's daycare program has grown as there is a greater need to provide daycare services to an increasing number of elderly people.
What we're hoping to do for now is to expand our daycare program, where we can assist more families, where they can bring in the grandparents or whoever they bring in the morning and pick them up in the afternoon. Prior to Maria, this program already existed, but we had to cancel it because of Maria. We were forced, even before we were ready to bring it back on, to resume, because we had a number of people coming in and asking for daycare services. So we've resumed, and we're looking at getting this program a little bit bigger that we can assist for that period of time. And long term, we definitely need to look at expanding the infirmary.
The infirmary currently accommodates 41 male residents and 55 female residents. Reporting for Channel 5 News, I am Andrea Louis.
And Hurricane Maria destroyed over 220% of Dominica's GDP. But Hurricane Maria also impacted the country in other ways that may not be captured by the GDP. One area seriously affected by the Category 5 storm is church buildings across the country. And Maria did not discriminate. You might say it was an equal opportunity destroyer. Take, for example, the impact on the Catholic Church building in Grand Bay. Since Hurricane Maria, serious devastation has taken place here in this building. You can see we're standing in a building with no roof whatsoever. If you look around, you can see the furniture and the benches, everything is pretty much piled up on the side. The floors already, you can see the moss growing, you can see all of this happening, the changes that have taken place since the exposure to the elements, rain and sunshine since the hurricane. This is where, you know, the faithful would gather regularly, but since Hurricane Maria, they've been gathering at the presbytery, just a stone's throw away. And in fact, when we arrived here today, we noticed that a funeral service, a funeral mass was taking place, and of course being held at the presbytery. Otherwise, it would have been taking place right here in this church building. So from what we can see, serious devastation, serious damage. The cost would be astronomical, and as far as how long this will take, it's anybody's guess. It'll take a while for the church to perhaps raise the funds and restore this building to its former glory. The Holy Spirit Church in Lubia also has been severely impacted to the point where it cannot be used for worship, at least not for some time to come. Bishop Malze has characterized the storm's impact on church infrastructure as severe.
Speaking to the diocesan engineer, the total estimate of damage would say maybe a replacement value of the buildings that were severely damaged. We would say it would amount to about $9 million in the vicinity. In fact, just to mention also that the cathedral presbytery was severely damaged as well, and even in terms of thinking of, you know, repairing is something that we really have to think of, because the water came in, and of course inside is all warped up, you know. So the impact was great, and we have quite a bit of work to do in terms of our rebuilding efforts to bring things back to what it was before.
The bishop says people are generally concerned with building back their homes, but that does not mean they are unconcerned about the storm's impact on their place of worship.
If you have water falling on your head every night, and you will be concerned about that first, you know. But the impact on the church was great, and therefore our rebuilding effort will take some time and some effort. The faith of people is not tarnished by those events. In fact, in some instances, I think it grows stronger. Nevertheless, the reality is there that we have to face the fire, face the situation that exists among us, and we have to go at rebuilding. And of course it will be a process that will be slow, because up to now we have problems with material, and on our part we are still waiting for the results from the insurance and to determine what we will get in order to help us in that rebuilding effort. So all these delays and this waiting period can cause people to be discouraged, you know? But nevertheless, it is part of the process. You know?
It's interesting that when Maria happened, you were in the process of fundraising for
For the cathedral, yes, well, and even that will be a setback as well. But for the cathedral, well, they will not severe damages. But from this month, we will begin to we'll restart the rebuilding effort on the cathedral.
The chapel in Concord and Upper Penville were both flattened by Hurricane Maria, while La Plaine and Portsmouth presbyteries lost their roofs. Julian Morris reporting for Channel 5 News. To end the news, the headlines again. Ross University sends home over 150 employees. Calypsonians brace for the impact of rising operating costs and reduced sponsorship this season. And Hurricane Maria will cost the Catholic Church over $9 million in repairs to church properties across the country. Feel free to contact us at news@marpin2k4.com. You can also watch our past newscasts on YouTube and also at tdnentertainment.net. On behalf of the entire production team, I am Julian Morris. Thank you for watching. Join us tomorrow.